Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is a small Chille video. It's basically, we all know not to listen to Chille and not to take his videos serious, but this is just showing an example of what happens to a person when they go on YouTube and watch Chille videos and they try to get legal advice from Chille himself. Hope you enjoy the video.
I sold a motorcycle. Can't say I was attempting, but I was halfway there, selling my motorcycle to somebody because I was caught with a DUI. I was convicted of DUI, which is fine. I can deal with that. But that motorcycle broke down in Florida here. Guy calls me at 12:30 at night. Bike's almost 2 hours from my house. I said, okay, I'm going to come down there. I'm going to get it started for you. You can drive it home. I get there, bike's flooded. Doesn't want to start. So I told my cousin, take my car, go back to the house, get my truck and trailer, and drop him off while you're at it. Well, I'm standing there at the street. Cops roll up, my bike's sitting at the pump, and they arrest me for, they tried to ask me a bunch of questions. I said, I'm not going to answer any of your questions. I haven't done anything wrong. They're like, oh, well, we suspect you of drinking and driving. I'm like, drinking and driving? You never even saw me pull up here. So they basically perjurized the whole police report, stating that they saw me drive, but when I was actually never pulled over to begin with.
It's happening all over the country. They're giving out DUIs to people.
But wait, okay, so I understand, they would arrest you for a DUI, and if you were able to prove that you weren't driving, then how would you be convicted of this? It's kind of hard to say that they saw you driving, but if you were able to prove to them that you weren't driving, like I'm sure the gas station has security cameras. Actually, I know that the gas stations in Florida, even in this county, they all have security cameras that are pointing at the gas pumps. All your lawyer had to do was subpoena the footage, and they would have seen that you were not driving when you got up there. So it would have been hard to convict you of a DUI if you had evidence that you were not driving. And even if you had not thought of the camera footage, your lawyer would have. But regardless of all that, now we're going to listen to Chille talk a bunch of bullshit.
Because cops get bonuses, promotions, incentives for giving away more DUIs.
Really?
Yes. Mothers Against Drunk Driving gives financial cash bonuses. They do Mothers Against Drunk Driving weekends, where they incentivize the individual cops with both financial rewards and prizes for whoever can get the most.
Okay, Chille, you're a liar, as usual. We all know that anyways. Mothers Against Drunk Drivers do not give out cash bonuses and weekend getaways or whatever he's trying to say. However, what they do give away is an award. It's a plaque that has MADD on it and then the officer's name. Basically, what they do is they award local officers there in California, local officers. Chille doesn't want people to know that. He wants them to think that this is done nationwide. But it's only to local officers. And the stipulation is they have to pull over, arrest, and have 66 convictions for DUIs in a year. So they're not just willy-nilly handing out money and awards and free weekend getaways and all this other stuff every time a cop arrests somebody for a DUI. That's not the truth. As usual, Chille is lying. Okay, so this is just a small example of what Mothers Against Drunk Driving gives away. It's just a small plaque that says MADD, and then the officer's name, the year, what station he's with, blah, blah, blah. I think that's great. I think it's wonderful that drunk drivers are taken off of the road. I mean, nobody wants somebody who's impaired driving while you're on the road with your family, or even just by yourself. Like, I mean, and let's not forget that driving while under the influence is illegal. You know, it's a morality thing as well. You don't want to be on the road with somebody who is not paying attention because they're impaired. I think what Mothers Against Drunk Driving, if they give these awards away for incentives to the local police in their area, I think that's a great idea. Here's another one showing the plaques that they have. Like, and that's all it is. It's not what Chille is saying, where they're giving away all this money, constantly giving away money and weekend getaways and all this other stuff. No, Chille's got to lie, because if Chille's not lying, then he cannot push his narrative.
Bonuses. They do Mothers Against Drunk Driving weekends, where they incentivize the individual cops with both financial rewards and prizes for whoever can get the most DUI arrests. That's real. It's really happening.
No, it's not real.
If you don't have a video, Joseph, I don't know how you're going to beat it. Is there any cameras that show you pull into the gas station?
The only person I have, the other person who was buying the bike doesn't want to deal with the these people.
Okay, and again, like I stated, there would be surveillance cameras at the gas station, and they pretty much cover the entire parking lot and every single pump. So if he did not himself pull into the driveway or pull into the parking lot and to the pump and dropped off, I mean, it's easy to get the footage. His attorney would just have it subpoenaed. It's easy. The police can even get the footage. It's not that hard. So obviously, if you're telling the truth, more than likely your lawyer would have already subpoenaed this video footage.
In trouble before with them.
Oh, right. So you don't say this on that.
My cousin will vouch for me. He even talked to my lawyer and says, yeah, I was the one that dropped him off there that night. Just so happened he owned the motorcycle, so he's going to stay with it. Well, I never even ran.
So what city and state?
They never saw me. They pulled up like it was in Port Richey, Florida. Okay. You know what's funny is I tried to look up now some other stuff that I was reading on the internet is I should not file a complaint against a cop right now until after my case is finished, so they can't use the evidence against me.
Who told you that?
I read it on the internet.
Well,
and the thing is I don't want to be arrested when I go in there.
Wait a minute. So he's reading on the internet not to file a complaint against a police officer before he goes to court, or evidence will be used against him. So does he think if he's nice to the police and he doesn't put in a complaint that they'll just keep evidence out of the courtroom? That makes no sense either. Then again, he does claim that he got this information from reading it on the internet.
File a police report against these people because it's very small. It's a very small police station. Now, I've called the mayor's office. I've called Pasco County. They're like, "Oh, you have to deal with the police department directly." They don't even have a form I can download on the internet and fill it out and send it in.
There's no way to complain unless you go there in person. So you have a warrant.
Okay, if there's no actual complaint form that you can download off the internet or get from them, then there's this amazing invention called paper. And along with it comes pencils or pens. Hell, there's even magic markers and crayons if you want to use a crayon. You write out the complaint, the officer's name and badge number, date and time of when this happened, date and time, your actual letter, take it down there, have them stamp it, make a copy, you get the copy back, and they keep the original. It's really not that difficult. Why would you be afraid of being arrested just for walking into the police department? Most people, even if they've been arrested already for something else, are not afraid to walk into a police department just to file a complaint. Something else is going on there, where they are that terrified of walking into the police department without being arrested.
I don't want to go there in person by myself because I know how shit works here in Florida. They try to intimidate you and say, well, you need to tell me what's going on and why you did this and blah, 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 because I've watched a bunch of videos like yours on the internet. I don't want to be intimidated because...
Okay, well, Mr. Joseph Freeman, your first mistake is watching Chille videos, because Chille videos are full of nothing but lies and horseshit. Your second mistake is believing Chille videos when he says that when you go to make a complaint, that they're not actually taking a complaint. They're just trying to intimidate you by asking obvious, common sense questions about what happened. See, when a police officer comes to you as you enter the police department and you say, I would like to make a report, or I would like to file a complaint, and a police officer comes out to assist you, well, they're going to take your complaint. In order to take your complaint, they kind of have to ask you questions. That is in no way intimidation. It's called doing their job.
I can't videotape them while I'm in the police station. They're going to kick me out.
You can videotape them in the police station.
I can. Yeah, because it says no videotaping allowed.
Well, that's not true, though. That's...
Mr. Joseph Freeman is a little bit smarter than Chille here. He is correct. If there is a policy and a sign on the door that says no videotaping allowed, or recording, or whatever with your camera, then that's their policy. And if you walk in doing it, they're going to tell you to stop. If you don't stop, they're then going to instruct you to leave. And if you don't leave, you're trespassing and you'll be arrested if you continue to stay. So Chille's saying, oh, that's not true. He's again going to lie. Again, causing somebody to possibly be arrested because they listened to Chille's lies.
Just a sign they put up. That's not a lawful sign. You have a right. It's not a limited public forum inside of a police department.
Okay, so Chille Boy here is partially correct, or at least almost correct. Actually, he's not correct at all. He is right that they are... Well, he's saying that a police department is not a limited public forum. And he's right about that. It's not a limited public forum. However, Chille, it's also not a public forum. It is, in fact, a non-public forum, which means that they can set up policy that says you cannot record inside of the police department, whether it's a lobby or not. It means that you cannot film the interior of a police department. So there is limited case law analyzing the interior of a police department as a forum for First Amendment purposes. The case law that does exist indicates that the interior of a police department is a non-public forum. The 7th Circuit Court has held that the interior of a police station is not a public forum. The Southern District of New York has recognized NYPD meeting rooms as non-public forums. Likewise, the Central District of California has held that a police station is a non-public forum. In a decision affirmed by the 8th Circuit, the Western District of Missouri held that a plaintiff had no constitutional right to videotape a police department lobby. Similarly, the Superior Court of Pennsylvania has upheld a no filming restriction imposed in the lobby of a police department as a reasonable restraint on free speech. So, you're right, Chille. It's not a limited public forum. It is a non-public forum, which means those little signs that they put in the windows that you seem to think are unconstitutional or not lawful are, in fact, lawful. They are policies. And you will be told to stop recording. And if you don't, you will be told to leave. And if you don't, you will be trespassed. If you continue to stay, you will be arrested.
It's not a limited public forum inside of a police department. That is not a limited public forum.
Okay. And you know what's really funny is the next day when I went to pick up my motorcycle, the guy that walked me out to the lay down yard where my bike was, he had a body camera on and it was running.
Okay.
And then he tried to ask me questions, and I said, I'm not in any shape or form for me to be answering any questions. Because he goes, what happened last night?
So you were selling a motorcycle, and so you had gotten $5,000 from the guy, and then...
No, Chille, he was selling a motorcycle, not a motorcycle. A motorcycle.
In the middle of the night, midnight, or whatever time you were going to meet him to collect the other $3,000. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you went to a gas station to meet him?
Went to the gas station because the bike broke down.
So he calls you from a gas station and says, hey, the bike broke down. You need the other $3,000, so you're going to cruise out there to fix the bike or to work with the guy so you can get the other $3,000. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you pull into the gas station in your car?
Yeah, my cousin drove me down there.
Okay.
Pulled up into the car, and I'm like, he wanted me to come down there and try to start it for him. And I'm like, if you flooded the bike out, it's not going to start.
Okay, so when your cousin took you up there, was this a Friday or Saturday night?
Saturday morning.
So Saturday morning at 2 o'clock in the morning. What time in the morning is it?
Yeah, they're estimated like 2:30 in the morning.
Okay, so you go...
Okay, so, I mean, maybe this is how a lot of people work. I don't know, but if I sold somebody my motorcycle and they call me at midnight 30 saying, hey, it broke down, I need you to come and fix it, and I'll give you the rest of what I owe you, my response is usually going to be, have it towed or leave it there with the permission of the gas station attendant, and in the morning at a reasonable hour, I will be more than happy to come out there and fix the bike for you. Why would anybody have somebody drop them off at 2 in the morning to go fix a motorcycle and collect $3,000? Something about this just does not make sense. Now, again, I am a night owl. I prefer to be up all night, sleep during the day. However, I'm up all night and I only sleep about 3 to 4 hours. So I'm usually in bed by 6 and up around 9 a.m. Sometimes I'm in bed by 4 a.m. and I'm up by 7:30 a.m. That's just how I am. I've always been a night owl. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who are night owls. However, this kind of a transaction and situation does not normally happen at between midnight 30 and 2:30 a.m. That just seems really odd. But, I mean, if that's the case, then so be it. I'm not here to judge him. I'm just saying something sounds off.
Up there with your cousin on Saturday night, and so you've been out having fun drinking, and so there's no question you've been drinking, but you weren't driving. Is that correct?
No, absolutely not. No, I had a couple beers at my house before I went down there, and I was actually in bed when he called me.
Oh, I see. So you'd had a couple of beers at home, and then so did your cousin live with you?
Yeah, we both live together.
Okay, so you said to your cousin, hey, the bike broke down, I gotta run down there, but I've been drinking, run me down there real quick.
Yeah.
Just like that?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. And is your cousin a reputable person? Does he have anything impeachable in his record?
That's another thing. When Chille talks to other people and he starts running down the storyline, the other person will answer yes or no, but they seem kind of hesitant. And then they always end up saying, basically, yeah. It's almost like this was rehearsed. Like Chille saying, okay, this is what you need to agree to. This is the story we're going to go with. And I'm just saying this out of experience from watching Chille, is that those that he tends to interview tend to not know the story 100% while Chille is reciting it back. They have some hesitation with answering, and when Chille runs down the story, it's always, oh yeah, so basically. I don't know. I mean, Chille did just grift $500 from his subscribers on a lie that is a month and a half old that he tried to make look like it happened that day. So, yeah, Chille's not very credible, and the people who reach out to him, or he reaches out to them and somehow manipulates them to come on a video with him, most of those people are not very credible either, especially those who are arrested with DUIs or DWIs. Not very credible people.
Nothing.
Okay,
His record is clean as a whistle.
Okay. And so there's no video of you driving a vehicle anywhere?
No. 0.
Mm-hmm. You know, if it was me, I can only tell you what I would do because I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give you legal advice. But if that was me, I would file a lawsuit against the prosecutor immediately. And that would be...
Oh my God, of course. Chille's advice for everything is file a lawsuit. Sue their ass. For what? Nothing has happened. He hasn't even gone to court yet, but you want him to file a lawsuit immediately? For what? I mean, at least find out how court works out before you go filing lawsuits willy-nilly. I mean, come on, Chille. Your legal advice to everybody is sue them. I do it all the time. The thing is Chille loses every lawsuit he puts out. Why would anybody take advice from Chille, especially when it comes to filing a lawsuit? Because he has yet to win even one. I don't understand why people listen to him. And then he sits there and says, well, I'm not a lawyer, but yet you call yourself a constitutional law scholar. By claiming you're a constitutional law scholar, you are claiming that you are a constitutional lawyer who teaches constitutional law. So if you can't admit you're not a lawyer, then I would suggest you stop calling yourself a constitutional law scholar.
Or malicious prosecution. That's how I would do it based on the 2022 case of Thompson versus Clark. And then...
Okay, so now we have Chille talking about Thompson versus Clark 2022, telling this James or Joseph Freeman to file a lawsuit against prosecution before they even go to court. So basically what this is about, this case law that Chille's throwing out, because we all know that when he talks about case law, he never seems to get it correct. It's always a different case law from the situation that he's in. It's usually always like that. So basically it reads, Larry Thompson, a Navy veteran and postal worker, lived with his fiancée and newborn daughter in an apartment in Brooklyn, New York. When Thompson's daughter was 1 week old, his sister-in-law called 911 and accused Thompson of sexually abusing the child. 4 police officers were dispatched to Thompson's house to investigate, but Thompson refused to let them in without a search warrant. In response, the 4 officers forced their way into Thompson's home and attempted to restrain Thompson. Thompson resisted and was taken into custody for 2 days and was subsequently charged with resisting arrest. Further investigation by law enforcement revealed no signs of child abuse. Rather than prosecute Thompson for resisting arrest, the prosecution opted to dismiss the charges. Neither the prosecutor or the judge offered any explanation as to why the charges were dismissed. However, charges were dismissed. Following the dismissal of his criminal charges, Thompson filed suit against the officers responsible for arresting him under 42 U.S.C. 1983 and alleging, among other things, that he had been maliciously prosecuted in violation of his Fourth Amendment rights, which provided the right against unlawful seizures. Thompson's claims were dismissed at the trial level, and his appeal to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals was similarly denied, as both courts held that, under existing precedent, Thompson was required to show that he had been affirmly found innocent of committing the underlying crime. On November 6, 2020, Thompson filed a petition for a writ of certiorari. I tongue-tied on that one, which was granted on March 8, 2021. During the October 12, 2021 oral argument, the justices posed a series of hypotheticals involving the fictional character of Jean Valjean and a mythical centaur. So decision was on April 4th, 2022, the Supreme Court released a 6-3 opinion authored by Justice Kavanaugh holding that Thompson was not required to show that he had been affirmatively exonerated of committing the alleged crime and instead need only show that the prosecution ended without a conviction. After analyzing the historical precedent, the majority opinion concluded that the general rule is that if a criminal proceeding was terminated prior to securing a conviction, the termination would be treated as favorable to the accused. The majority further held that this conclusion was consistent with the purpose and values of the Fourth Amendment, as otherwise the Fourth Amendment would be violated with impunity, so long as the prosecutor did not explain why the charge had been dropped. With this holding pronounced, the court remanded that the case for further proceedings regarding whether Thompson had been seized under the Fourth Amendment, whether the officers had probable cause to enter Thompson's home without a warrant, and whether any of the officers were entitled to qualified immunity. Justice Alito dissented from the majority's holding, arguing that court had improperly combined precedent from different legal contexts in order to reach its conclusion. Instead, the dissent argued that Thompson should have pursued alternative constitutional claims rather than the ones under the Fourth Amendment. Phew. Okay, first of all, he didn't. It looks here like he filed a lawsuit against the police officers, not the prosecutor. Because he had filed charges against the officers, which were dismissed, both the original lawsuit and the appeal. So I'm not sure where Chille's getting, like, none of the, of course Chille doesn't understand any case law when he reads it. My point is, this is the case law that he is referring to. Basically, why are you going to file a lawsuit against prosecution before your court date? I mean, come on. Chille, stop. Stop telling people to do lawsuits and sue everybody just because your little feelings got hurt. And again, I find it very hard to believe that the gas station in question did not have any kind of security cameras pointed around the property, especially at the gas pumps. His lawyer would have already reached out and subpoenaed the footage. Even the police officers could have gotten the footage if they want to prove that he was driving.
And then I would submit, with the cover sheet of your letter of intent to sue, I would submit a statement from your cousin, a sworn statement that's notarized, and I would say, here's the statement from my cousin that clearly I'm working on selling a bike. He drove me down there. There's absolutely no proof from the pig that I was in any way, shape, or form operating a motorized vehicle.
And there's also no way a court is going to take a sworn statement written by some guy's cousin as fact. Anybody can write a statement, have it notarized, and claim it's the truth. That is why they bring in witnesses in court cases, so they can be on the stand and give their testimony. And then at that point, you are swearing under oath. Anybody who purposefully lies under oath is a complete moron. How much you want to bet Chille has lied under oath several times?
But you have to actually fight them. You can't wait. You got to fight them. 92% of civil rights cases are brought by the person who was assaulted. So you were assaulted by the cops. You have.
Oh my God! Of course. If there's a civil rights lawsuit brought on, it's usually always going to be by the person who was assaulted. Why would the other person bring on the lawsuit if they assaulted somebody? This is not, oh my God, this is not civil rights. This is not civil rights, Chille. All right, Chille. I want to give you a little bit of free education here, so listen up, okay? Civil rights. Examples of civil rights include the right to vote, the right to a fair trial, the right to government services, the right to a public education, the right to gainful employment, the right to housing, the right to use public facilities, and freedom of religion. In no way, shape, or form were his civil rights violated. Plain and simple. You want to call yourself a constitutional law scholar, yet you don't seem to understand the difference between civil rights and constitutional rights. There is a difference, Chille. I know you don't think there is, but there is a difference.
You only do one of them. So you do the federal civil rights lawsuit, or you go for their bond. So if your inclination is to go for their bond, then go for it.
Yeah, because they get in trouble. I read on the internet that once they have so many convictions and once their surety bond, the surety company will drop them from the insurance.
No, you read that, but is it true?
I'm not sure. I don't know. But usually, well, this is on some of the case law that I've been.
Well, don't ask Chille if it's true. Chille wouldn't know the truth if it got up and kicked him right in the face.
Reading on the internet about the United States Constitution and how these cops get their surety bonds. The whole police station is insured through a surety bond, and basically what happens if they start to break that bond, they're breaking people's constitutional rights, violating civil rights and all that stuff. And once they have so many charges against them, that they'll get dropped by the insurance company.
That's the theory.
I don't know. Now, I don't know if this is correct or not, but I'm pretty sure that I can sue them for their surety bond, and I can get money out of the insurance company for breaking my civil rights, for them breaking a civil rights violation.
You'll still need to get your sworn statement from your cousin.
My lawyer already did.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just break this down. The bottom line is money. That's all it is. That's all this is about. Money. Wanting money.
Get that done and go for it. Go to bondsforthewin.com and see if someone else has done this before and they can help you. This happened to a friend of mine in Kentucky. He was charged with DUI and he wasn't drunk. It's happening.
Of course, it always happens to a friend of his. Every time somebody dies of an overdose, Chille knows 15 people personally who just died of an overdose. Chille doesn't have any real life friends. Let's just get that right out there. Nothing happens to a friend of his that he knows, because he doesn't have any friends out there that he knows that have had any of this happen to. It's all just more of his bullcrap that he throws out for his narrative so that he can continue to lie and, well, use his followers, take money from them.
All over this country. The cops are morons, so they just think they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, of course, because they work with what's called impunity, so they never get in trouble.
That's the whole reason.
The cops are the morons, Chille. Let's see. I know I've gone over this before, but let's compare you with a cop. You, no job. Cop, a career. You, no money. Cop, steady paycheck and a pension. You, no home. Cop, has a home. You, no vehicle. Cop, has a vehicle. You, most of your family wants nothing to do with you. Cop, has a family that loves them. You, no life at all. Cop, has a life. I'd say the moron is you.
Why they continue to behave the way they do. There's no consequences for the pig. None. Zero.
Correct.
They can do whatever they want to you and nothing can happen to them. Even if you sue them, they don't get fired. Nothing happens to the pig. Well, when you have no consequences, no matter what you do, you're going to become a tyrannical pig.
And that is not true. If the cop actually does do something wrong and it is a fireable offense, they will be let go. Now, there are some cases, very few, where that doesn't happen. But for the majority, absolutely, they're let go. But, of course, Chille has to lie.
That's what we see seen time and time and time again. If you want to win, you're going to have to fight, and it's going to take time.
You shouldn't go after the prosecutor.
You should be suing them for malicious prosecution is what I would do if I was you. But Joseph,
Malicious prosecution, okay.
Thompson versus Clark, 2022. Listen.
But it hasn't been prosecuted yet. Why are you going to go after the prosecution for malicious prosecution before you're even prosecuted? Come on. Joseph Freeman, I want to give you some really, really, really good advice. Get an actual lawyer. Do not listen to anything Chille says or advises. Most people that do listen to him and take his legal advice end up in jail. I mean, look at Deborah Rogers. And then there was a guy in Texas, too, who he almost, it got really bad for him, but he smartened up and cut Chille loose. Anybody that follows Chille's advice, law advice or life advice, all ends up screwed in the end. Because Chille doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about you, Joseph Freeman. He doesn't care about anyone else. He only cares about what you and your story can do for him. He only cares about what you and your story can help him grift and take more money from his followers over. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care if you go to jail. He just cares about using you so he can grift and take more money from his followers.
You have to really, it's going to take your time. You won't be able to do all the things you were doing and fight. You're going to have to sacrifice some time or money or personal relationship stuff. You have to fight, or they're going to put you in the dungeon, bro. All right? Okay.
Wait, so he's going to lose all his personal relationships because he's filing a lawsuit? No. Okay. If this guy actually takes Chille's advice, whatever happens to him, he honestly deserves it.
I'll have to let you go, malicious prosecution. I will get with you in a couple days, dude. Thanks.
Good luck, Joseph. Bye, buddy.
Bye-bye.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll reach out to this Joseph Freeman and tell him, look, dude, you do whatever you feel like you need to do. But if you want to stay out of jail, don't listen to Chille. Just don't. Because he's only going to end up getting you hurt. Because that's all he does. Everything he does, any help he offers, it's just for his benefit. And that other person ends up screwed in the end. So there we go. Chille being Chille, giving out legal advice that he shouldn't be giving, and everything that he does offer is based off his feelings and his opinion. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care what happens to this Joseph Freeman. He could care less. He only cares about the fact that by using this guy and his story, he'll be able to grift for more money. Anyways, I am still working on another Chille video. It is quite long because it's off one of his live streams. So I'm going through it and just picking and choosing certain parts of it so that I don't make a over 1 hour video on him. So it is taking me some time. I will get it done. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Be safe. I love each and every one of you.